Okay, today we're going to learn how to graph using intercepts. Here's the vocabulary you're going to need to know for this section. You can pause this video to write down your vocabulary, or again, look in your book's glossary for these definitions. Okay, so our first example, we want to find the x and the y-intercept of the graph of this equation. To find the x-intercept, it's very simple. I'm just going to let y equals 0. Because remember, an x-intercept is where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. When you cross the x-axis, the y value is 0. So, instead of a y, I'm going to replace it with a 0. And now I'm going to solve this equation. Order of operations, we're going to multiply before we add or subtract. We know that 2 times 0 is going to give me nothing, so I'm going to be subtracting nothing. I have 8x is equal to 32. Divide both sides by 8. X is equal to 4. So my x-intercept is my x value, comma, what was my y value there? Well, I said my y was 0. There's my x-intercept, 4, 0. Find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the spot where the graph crosses the y-axis. When I'm crossing the y-axis, my x value is 0. So to find the y-intercept, let x be 0. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to place it with a 0. 8 times 0, we all know, is nothing. So I'm going to be subtracting a negative 2y. That's going to be equal to 32. To get rid of multiplying by negative 2, I'm going to divide each side by negative 2. That gives me a y value of negative 16. So my y-intercept is, what was my x value? 0. And what's my y value? Negative 16. So my x-intercept, 4, 0. My y-intercept, 0, negative 16. Think about how you could graph this equation if you knew those 2 points. Pause this video and do the checkpoints. Rewind if you need to rewatch it, and then press play when you're done to check your work. There are your answers. How'd you do? Okay, example 2, we're going to use our intercepts to actually graph our equation. So we want to graph this equation. The first step is to find the intercepts. Okay, remember, to find the x-intercept, we're going to the y-intercept, we're going to let x be 0. So wherever you see an x, you're going to place a 0. So right there is going to be a 0. So this times 0 is just going to make it go away. So that's no longer there. Okay, the other thing you could do is on your paper, you could actually place your thumb right there and then just look to see what's left. What would be left is 2y equal 14. So then you would divide both sides by 2 to give you y equals 7. So my y-intercept, my x value was 0, my y is now 7. To find my x-intercept, I'm going to let y be 0. So wherever I see a y, I'm going to place a 0, and this is multiplication. Again, because this is set up really nice, I could place my thumb right there. So I wouldn't see that because I know that's going to be 0. So I have 3.5x is equal to 14. So I'm going to have to divide both sides by 3.5. When I do that, I get 4. X is going to be equal to 4. So then my x-intercept is my x point, and my y was 0. Now I'm going to plot the intercepts. Okay, well, my 2 intercepts were, oops, sorry. Forgot my pen. Okay, so my 2 intercepts were 4, 0, that's my x-intercept, and then I found 0, 7. That was my y-intercept. So I can plot these 2 points. 4, 0, right there. There's 1. 0, 7, of course, it's going to go off my graph. So let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to get a bigger graph. Okay, now we're going to connect the points, and again, on your paper, use a ruler, use something, pretend I went through that point, pretend it's straight. Okay, so pretend that's a line and it's straight. That would be the graph of our line, 3.5x plus 2y equal 14. And I found that graph by just plotting the intercepts. Okay. Looking at a graph, I can find the intercepts. To find the x-intercept, I'm looking where the graph crosses the x-axis. So right there, what's that point? That point is -2, 0. That's my x-intercept. My y-intercept is the spot where the graph crosses the y-axis. There it is. What's that point? My x value is 0. My y value is 2. There's my y-intercept. Okay, pause the video to do your checkpoints. When you're done, press play for the answers. There's your answers. How did you do? Okay, summary. You should have learned how to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. To find an x-intercept, just let y be 0, solve for x. To find a y-intercept, let x be 0, solve for y. Okay, if you need more information on this lesson, turn to 4.3 in your textbook, go to Khan Academy, or look at Mr. Matuni's videos on my website.